Welcome to Optimistic Insight. This world we create is not always the reality that we deserve. Do you feel like sometimes you suffer from anxiety, physical pain, ailments, and even emotional imbalance? Maybe it's just the reality that you've created from your internal dialogue. Every day we write the story to our life, but we never ask ourselves what is the context of the words we are using? What do these words even mean internally to us, and how are they settled into the tone for my story? Well, it could just take a different point of perspective to gain another insight into what these words actually create for us. Welcome to Optimistic Insight. Good morning, Grand Rising, Great Awakening, wherever you at. I'm glad that you are here. This is Maxwellness with another episode of Optimistic Insight. And if you are not familiar, this is the ways that we bridge and connect the relationships between the words that have been deep set within us, and looking not only at the etymology, but how do we actually correlate to these words? And can we shift our perspective from a point of pessimism to an optimistic insight? Today we have such a good one. Comfort. Ooh, everybody likes comfort. I know the ladies, you guys love comfort, ease. I need it to be pretty. I need it to feel good. I need it to be right. All the texture, sensations, and all of that. And fellas, I understand that the ways of comfort is the ways that we can set that out. How can we make things most comfortable? What is our comfort? Can we actually bypass that and just feel good? That's all we want. But let me shift and shake these things up a little bit. The word comfort is just split right down the middle as come and fort. Let's take a look a little bit more into this. We come to a point where we begin to fortify a portion of ourself from past experiences and sometimes find comfort in external outlets that represent the subject that we have come to protect. Is that yourself? Is that your children? Is that your money? Whatever it may be, we come to build this fort around all these precious things. We begin to build barriers rather than boundaries that set a setting for our point of view from within that state, and in attempting to create safety, security, or ease from that fabricated space, we create dis-ease. Protecting yourself based off past experiences can become the fortified space you have come to know over the years. This space can begin to breed complacency within your actions and habits. So, in today's society, looking at this sense of comfort, yes, we all seek it. So, internally, through your heart center, magnetically, we are drawn to this word, but we're drawn to really the feeling, less of the word. But what does the word actually mean as we say it out? Do we actually know and feel these senses that are around it? Where are we actually building from? Where are we actually creating this fort from? So, today's story I have for you is called Come On In. It's safe. Condition change changes conditions. Natural learning learns nature. When change happens to us and we are going through the pangs of that change, we can begin to build barriers from our learned experiences to protect that comfort. This comes to be our fort built off of past pains, learned lessons, and wounds of warnings. Remember when you were younger and built forts? Yeah, that good feeling. What was the foundation of that fort? The high, cushioned, and impenetrable walls that were so graciously allowed others to pass once we gave that okay. The walls provided a structure of security, and this internally gave us the feeling of safety. That's all we truly want deep in our root, right? That same safety also gives birth to comfort of privacy, leisure, and many other things. This is just human nature. What happens when we begin to build those walls higher and higher, but not out of cushions, out of the fear of our big brother, sister, or ex partner from coming to smash through them and take away our very safety we fought so hard to build? That same level of security disappears from the outside, and suddenly our safety, comfort, and all we have relied on vanishes. We soon begin to realize, resent, and remember that feeling of impermanence that comes with everything in life, just like our perfectly built fort. The ways in which we hold on to these emotions becomes the reasoning as to why we begin to build our new boundaries to protect something that's impermanent. When we build our forts internally, it's important to begin with gravel of gratitude, mortar of meaning, and gates of acceptance. Or else we just begin to fortify ourselves into a separated and sensitive state of solitude. And like Drake said, who wants to be 70 and alone? What our soul seeks truly, always, is the ease and comfort. But yet we know as a human that we must learn through adversity and uncomfortability. Does it seem like an even transference of energy? Uncomfortability for comfortability? It just keeps going on and on. Is that the true nature of learning? To keep building up barriers, to hold on to a comfort that is ultimately going to dissolve into a lesson that you'll need to sacrifice the comfort to grow again. The cycle is endless. What if we found comfort in the nature of this cycle by naturally allowing it to exist within our comfort zone, by being boundless rather than building barriers or boundaries? What if the wholeness of coming to experience everlasting comfort was in allowing both truths to exist, allowing the nature of change into the gates of your conditions to change your nature of learning what security in safety truly is embodied by? These comforts and these forts that we've built over the years through conditionings from our past experiences have allowed us to see that we have come to fortify these things that we let go and pull back in, and protect and pull back in. And this is either based out of fear or it's based out of protection. And the question I would ask you to open up this perspective of your mystic sight would be, what would you tell that kid behind those cushioned conditions to let go of in order to feel the wholeness of what they truly were seeking? Thank you guys for tuning in today's episode of Optimistic Insight. So I wanted to wrap up by just pulling this all together. So in this piece, we really look at the difference between comfort and really what I would say is security, or some would say safety. I feel there's a difference, but let's save that for another episode. I share all this to share that comfort is not always a bad thing. It may not come from this negatively charged space or lack of insecurity or lack of safety, but it can also be a place of ease and a place of flow. I share this concept and this different insight in a way to challenge ourselves to look a bit deeper, to truly see why are we creating these spaces of comfort? Are we creating them from a space of deep set insecurity, or are we creating them for the comfort to create from ease? Now, though comfort may prove as some to not be evolutionary, or it can kind of harbor this state of complacency, and comfortability kind of gives us this sense of laziness, but it does have a fulfilling and nourishing place to be in and to create from. So I share this in a way of bringing optimism to the places in which we take our words and the places and spaces that we create for ourselves. Now, whether you're in comfort, comfortable, or comforting, allow for this word to really come from a place
of true creation, of ease, generosity, safety, security, and creative flow. Because this is where we all have our true power to really create in which we so choose, rather from a place of scarcity, survival, but from a place of thriving and nourishment and fulfilling comfort that we all deserve.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Optimistic Insight. I trust that these words have created new ways for you to utilize them and the emotions attached to them, opening up our perception on the way these words are viewed and processed daily can be the optimistic insight we need to create more fluid state of being.